The dog appeared out of nowhere, a dark shape materializing from the desert heat like a mirage given form. Jackson Monroe had pulled into the rest stop 20 miles outside of Alamogordo because his bike was overheating and he needed water, but mostly because he had nowhere else to be. 6 months of aimless riding since Claire died, 6 months of running from an empty house and memories that wouldn't stay buried, and he'd ended up here in the New Mexico desert as lost as he'd ever been. The dog was a German Shepherd mix, thin and limping, her coat matted with dust and burrs. She approached Jax's bike cautiously, keeping her distance, but her eyes, dark and intelligent, never left him. He could see her ribs through her fur, see the way she favored her right front paw. "Hey there," Jax said quietly, crouching down and extending his hand. He'd grown up with dogs, had always planned to get one with Claire, but cancer had a way of putting plans on hold permanently. "You okay, girl?" The dog took a tentative step forward, then another. She was thirsty. He could tell from the way her tongue hung out, from the dullness in her eyes. Jax opened his water bottle and poured some into his cupped hand. The dog drank gratefully, then allowed him to pour more into a shallow divot in the concrete. While she drank, Jax noticed the collar. It was leather, worn but good quality, with something metal hanging from it. He reached out slowly, not wanting to spook her, and turned the tag so he could read it. 2 tags, actually. The first was a standard rabies vaccination tag from a veterinary clinic in El Paso. The second made his breath catch. It was a military dog tag, the kind soldiers wore. He could make out the engraving even through the dirt. S.G.T. Maya Rodriguez, USARMYOPOSCATHOLIC. Below that, in smaller letters, "If found, contact Isabel Rodriguez," followed by a phone number. Jax sat back on his heels, looking at the dog with new understanding. This wasn't just a stray. This was a soldier's dog, and she was a long way from home. "Where's your mom, girl?" Jax asked. "Where's Maya?" The dog, he checked the second tag and found her name was Athena, whined softly and pressed her head against his leg. The gesture was so full of loneliness and longing that Jax felt his chest tighten. He knew that feeling. He'd been carrying it for 6 months. Jax had 2 choices. He could take Athena to the nearest animal shelter and let them handle it, or he could call the number on the tag. The old Jax, the one from before Claire died, would have known exactly what to do, but this version of himself, the one who'd been riding aimlessly for months, trying to outrun grief, wasn't sure he had the capacity to care about someone else's problems. He looked at Athena, at the way she'd curled up next to his boot, finally resting now that she'd found another human. He thought about Claire, about what she would say if she could see him now. She'd always been the better person, the one who stopped for strays and strangers, the one who believed in showing up even when it was inconvenient. "All right," Jax said, pulling out his phone. "Let's find out where you belong." The number rang 4 times before a woman's voice answered, harried and tired. "Hello?" "Is this Isabel Rodriguez?" Jax asked. "Yes. Who's this?" Suspicion crept into her voice, the wariness of someone who'd dealt with too many bill collectors. "My name's Jackson Monroe. I'm at a rest stop outside Alamogordo, and I just found a dog named Athena. She's got tags with this number and a soldier's name, Maya Rodriguez." The sound Isabel made was somewhere between a sob and a gasp. "You found Athena? Oh my God, where? Is she okay? When?" "She just walked up to me about 10 minutes ago. She's dehydrated and skinny, got a limp, but she seems basically okay. How long has she been missing?" 3 weeks, Isabel said, her voice breaking. 3 weeks. She got out when my son left the gate open. We've been looking everywhere, posted flyers, called shelters. My sister's going to... She stopped, and Jax heard her crying. "Ma'am, where are you located? I can bring her to you." "El Paso," Isabel said. "But that's 2 hours from Alamogordo." "I can't ask you to. I mean, I can come get her. It'll take me a few hours. I need to get off work and find someone to watch my kids, but I'll come right now." Jax looked at his bike, at the empty road ahead, at the dog who'd fallen asleep against his leg with the trust of an animal who'd been desperately looking for help. "I'm on a bike, so I can't take her on the highway, but I can get her to a vet here in town, make sure she's checked out, then I'll wait for you." "You'd do that?" Isabel sounded stunned. "Why?" It was a good question. Why was he inserting himself into a stranger's crisis when he'd spent 6 months avoiding all human connection? Jax looked down at Athena and thought about loyalty, about coming home, about the people who waited. Because she's a soldier's dog, he said simply, and soldiers deserve better than their dogs dying lost in the desert. Dr. Sarah Kim's veterinary clinic was small but clean, tucked into a strip mall on the edge of Alamogordo. She took one look at Athena and ushered them into an exam room immediately. Dehydration, malnutrition, infected cut on the paw, but nothing life-threatening, Dr. Kim said after a thorough examination. She's been surviving on her own for a while. Tough girl. She gave Athena a treat and scratched behind her ears. The tags say she belongs to a soldier. Specialist Maya Rodriguez, Jax confirmed. Her sister's driving down from El Paso to get her. Do you know where the soldier is? Dr. Kim asked. Deployed, I assume, Jax said. Why? Because this dog is grieving, Dr. Kim said gently. I've worked with military dogs and military families for 15 years. I know what separation looks like. Athena's not just lost. She's looking for someone specific, her person. The words hit Jax harder than they should have. Looking for someone specific. Wasn't that what he'd been doing for 6 months? Riding aimlessly, half hoping to find Claire around the next corner, even though he knew she was gone? Can you do anything for her? Jax asked. Besides the physical stuff? Keep her safe, keep her fed, and wait for her soldier to come home, Dr. Kim said. That's all anyone can do. Isabel arrived 3 hours later, bursting through the clinic door with a young boy in tow. She was in her early 30s, wearing a school custodian's uniform, her hair pulled back in a hasty ponytail. The moment she saw Athena, she dropped to her knees and the dog rushed to her, tail wagging frantically. Baby girl? Isabel sobbed, her arms around Athena's neck. Oh my God, we thought you were dead. Carlos, come see. Athena came home. The boy, maybe 8 years old, hung back shyly, but his eyes were wide with relief. Is she okay? She's okay, Dr. Kim assured him. Hungry and tired, but she'll be fine. Isabel looked up at Jax, tears streaming down her face. Thank you. I can't. How do I thank you for this? You don't have to, Jax said. But now that Isabel was here, now that he could see the exhaustion in her face and the cheap, worn quality of her clothes, questions started forming. Your sister, Maya. When does she come home? Isabel's expression shifted, worry replacing relief. Not for another 7 months. She's in Afghanistan, extended deployment. She's supposed to rotate out in November. 7 months? Jax repeated. That's a long time for a dog to wait. I know, Isabel said quietly. She glanced at Carlos, who was now sitting on the floor with Athena, both of them looking happier than they'd been in weeks. Maya sends money every month to help with rent and food. I'm trying to take care of Athena like I promised, but it's hard. I work full-time, I've got 2 kids, and my apartment doesn't allow dogs. The landlord gave me a waiver because it's my sister's service dog, but if she causes problems or if my neighbors complain, I could lose it. Where has Athena been staying? Jax asked. In my apartment, but my son forgot to latch the gate when he took out the trash. She got out and we couldn't find her. I've been driving around every day after work, putting up flyers, calling shelters. I was starting to think... Her voice broke. Maya's going to be devastated. Athena's all she talks about in her emails, making sure I'm taking care of her, asking for pictures, counting down the days until she can see her again. Jax watched Carlos with Athena, saw the way the dog leaned into the boy's touch, but kept looking at the door, waiting for someone who wouldn't walk through it for 7 more months. He thought about Dr. Kim's words. This dog is grieving. What if she stayed with me? The words came out before Jax fully thought them through. Isabel looked up, confused. What? Temporarily, Jax clarified, his mind racing. Until your sister comes home. I live alone. I've got a yard. I'm former military myself. Marine Corps. I understand military families, and honestly, I could use the company. You're a stranger, Isabel said carefully. No offense, but I don't know you. You're right, Jax agreed. So here's what we do. You keep Athena tonight, get her settled. Tomorrow you call my club president, get references, do a background check if you want. If you're satisfied, I'll take her. If not, she stays with you and we figure something else out. Why would you do this? Isabel asked. It's 7 months. That's a huge commitment. Jax looked at Athena, at her dark eyes and the way she'd trusted him immediately when she'd found him in that rest stop. He thought about purpose, about having a reason to stop running, about keeping faith with someone who was serving her country, while her dog waited faithfully at home. "Because I made a promise to myself a long time ago," Jax said, "that I'd never leave a Marine behind, and I'm extending that promise to soldiers' dogs. She deserves better than being stuck in an apartment where she's not really wanted. No offense." "None taken," Isabel said. She looked at Athena, at her son, at the reality of their cramped apartment and her 2 jobs, and the impossibility of properly caring for a large dog on top of everything else. "Can I think about it?" "Absolutely," Jax said. He pulled out a card for the Borderland Brotherhood MC Clubhouse. "That's my club. President's name is Dutch Harrison. Call him tomorrow." That night, Jack stayed in a cheap motel in Alamogordo and did something he hadn't done in months. He called his club president. "Jax?" Dutch sounded surprised. "Where the hell are you?" "New Mexico," Jax said, "and I need a favor. I need you to vouch for me to a woman named Isabel Rodriguez. I'm offering to foster her sister's dog while the sister's deployed." There was a pause. "You're fostering a dog?" "Long story," Jax said. "But yes, the sister's going to call you tomorrow for a reference. I need you to tell her I'm not a serial killer." "Are you okay?" Dutch asked, his voice gentler now. "We haven't seen you in 6 months." Everyone's worried. Jack stared at the motel ceiling, thinking about how to answer that. Was he okay? Number. Would he ever be okay again? Probably not, but for the first time since Claire died, he'd felt something other than numbness. He'd felt needed. "I'm working on it," Jack said finally. "This thing with the dog. I know it sounds crazy, but I think I need to do it." "Then do it," Dutch said. "And when you're ready to come home, we'll be here." Isabel called the next afternoon. She'd spoken to Dutch, checked Jax's background, even called the VA to verify his service record. "You're legit," she said, sounding both relieved and amazed. "Former Marine, Iraq veteran, member of a legitimate MC, no criminal record. You really want to do this?" "I really do," Jax confirmed. "Okay," Isabel said, "but I have conditions. You send me pictures every week. You take her to the vet if anything seems wrong. And when Maya comes home, you bring Athena back immediately." "Deal," Jax said. "And one more thing," Isabel added. "Maya doesn't know Athena was lost. I didn't want to worry her while she's deployed. Can we keep it that way?" "You want me to lie to a soldier?" Jax asked. "I want you to protect her from worrying about something she can't control," Isabel corrected. "She's got enough on her plate. If she asks about Athena, I'll tell her my friend is watching her temporarily because my landlord made noise about the pet deposit. That's technically true." Jax understood the instinct to protect, to shield someone from additional pain when they were already carrying too much. "Okay," he agreed, "but when she comes home, she gets the full story." "Fair enough," Isabel said. They made the exchange in a parking lot in El Paso. Carlos cried as he hugged Athena goodbye, making Jax promise to bring her back to visit. Isabel gave him Athena's vet records, her favorite toys, and a blanket that smelled like Maya. "She sleeps with this every night," Isabel said, handing over the worn blanket. "Maya left it behind when she deployed. It helps." Jax took the blanket and saw how carefully it had been folded, how well loved it was. This wasn't just fabric, it was connection, memory, the physical manifestation of a promise between soldier and dog. "I'll take good care of her," Jax promised. "I know you will," Isabel said. "And thank you, really. Maya has no idea how close she came to losing Athena. You saved more than just a dog. You saved my sister's reason for coming home." The ride back to Texas with Athena in a borrowed dog trailer was the first time in months that Jax felt like he was going somewhere instead of just away from something. He'd called ahead to the clubhouse, arranged for someone to check that his house was livable after 6 months of neglect, and warned everyone that he was coming back with a dog. The Borderland Brotherhood welcomed him with the easy acceptance of men who'd all been through their own hells. Nobody asked where he'd been or why he'd been gone. They just helped him unload Athena, made sure she had food and water, and told him he'd been missed. "She's a good-looking dog," Dutch said, watching Athena explore the clubhouse yard. "What's her story?" Jax told him everything, finding her in the desert, the soldier's tag, the sister struggling to take care of her while Maya was deployed. I figured 7 months of dog-sitting beats 7 months of riding nowhere. You're right, Dutch said, and maybe taking care of something else helps you take care of yourself. Over the next few weeks, Jack settled into a routine he hadn't had since before Claire got sick. Up at dawn to walk Athena, breakfast, then work at the auto shop he co-owned with another club member. Home for lunch, another walk. Afternoons working on bikes or helping with club business. Dinner, a final walk, then evenings on the porch with Athena at his feet. It was simple, structured, purposeful. And slowly, imperceptibly, Jack started feeling less like a ghost haunting his own life and more like a person again. He sent Isabel pictures every week as promised. Athena sleeping in a sunbeam, Athena playing with Dutch's grandkids, Athena riding in the sidecar of a club member's bike. Isabel responded with updates about Maya, carefully edited emails that her sister sent home, pictures of her in uniform looking tired but determined. She asks about Athena constantly, Isabel texted after 6 weeks, wants to know if she's eating okay, if she's happy. I told her my friend is spoiling her rotten. Thank you for making that true. Jax looked at Athena, currently sprawled on Claire's side of the bed, a place he'd forbidden himself from looking at for 6 months, and felt something shift in his chest. This dog had claimed his space, his time, his attention, and instead of resenting it, he was grateful. You're welcome, he texted back. She's helping me too. 3 months in, Jax got a call from an unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Is this Jackson Monroe? A woman's voice, professional but warm. Yeah, who's this? Lieutenant Emily Cooper, U.S. Army. I'm Maya Rodriguez's commanding officer. Isabel gave me your number. I hope that's okay. Jax's pulse quickened. Is Maya okay? She's fine, Lieutenant Cooper assured him quickly. But I'm calling because we're arranging an early return for her. She's been doing exceptional work here, and we're moving up her rotation date by 3 months. She'll be home in August instead of November. That's great, Jax said and meant it. Athena will be thrilled. That's actually why I'm calling, Lieutenant Cooper said. Maya doesn't know about the early return yet. We're keeping it quiet for operational reasons. But I wanted to give you a heads up so you can coordinate with Isabel. We're planning a surprise homecoming, and having Athena there would mean everything to Maya. Absolutely, Jax said. Just tell me when and where. August 15th, Fort Bliss. I'll send details closer to the date. She paused. And Mr. Monroe? Thank you for taking care of Athena. Maya talks about her constantly. That dog is a big part of what's keeping her going over here. After they hung up, Jack sat on his porch with Athena's head in his lap and thought about time. 4 months left instead of 7. It should have felt like a relief, but instead, Jax felt something like loss. 4 more months of structure, purpose, having something that needed him. Then Athena would go back to her real owner, and Jax would be alone again. Except he wouldn't be. Not really. Somewhere over the past 3 months, he'd reconnected with his club, with his business, with his life. He'd started going to the grief counseling group that Dutch's wife had suggested. He'd cleaned out Claire's closet, not throwing everything away, but packing it carefully, honoring what had been while making space for what could be. Athena had done that. Or rather, caring for Athena had forced Jax to do that. You couldn't wallow in grief when a dog needed walking. You couldn't stay isolated when you had to take her to the park. You couldn't remain disconnected when veterinarians and club members and random people on the street stopped to ask about your beautiful dog, and you had to tell them the story. You're good therapy, Jax told Athena, scratching behind her ears. Maybe when you go home, I'll get one of my own. The months passed quickly. Athena gained weight, her coat became shiny, her limp disappeared. She learned Jax's routine and integrated into club life, becoming a mascot of sorts. The members called her the specialist and snuck her treats when they thought Jax wasn't looking. Jax sent pictures and updates to Isabel, who forwarded carefully curated versions to Maya. In return, Isabel sent him Maya's emails about missing home, missing her sister and nephews, missing Athena with an ache that came through clearly in every line. I dream about coming home and having Athena jump on me the way she used to, Maya wrote in one email that Isabel forwarded. I dream about taking her hiking in White Sands, about falling asleep with her on the couch. I'm counting days. Reading that, Jax understood something important. Athena wasn't his dog. She never had been. He was just keeping her warm, keeping her safe, keeping her ready for the person she'd been waiting for all along. That was okay. That was enough. In early August, Lieutenant Cooper called with details. Maya's flight arrived on August 15th at 1400 hours. There would be a small ceremony at Fort Bliss, family only, but they'd arranged for Athena to be there. Isabel would bring her nephews, and if Jax wanted to come, if he wanted to be there when the soldier finally came home to her dog, he was welcome. "I'll be there," Jax said. August 15th dawned clear and hot. Typical Texas summer weather. Jax gave Athena a bath, brushed her until her coat gleamed, and put on her good collar, the one with both tags, the rabies vaccination, and the soldier's dog tag that had led him to this moment. At the clubhouse, 8 members of the Borderland Brotherhood were waiting, all in their cleanest vests, all wanting to be part of this. They formed an escort of sorts, 9 motorcycles rolling toward Fort Bliss with Athena riding in Dutch's sidecar, her ears up, somehow knowing something important was happening. At the base, Isabel waited with her 2 boys near a small hangar. She'd brought balloons and a banner that said, "Welcome home, Maya." When she saw Athena, she burst into tears. "She looks so good," Isabel said, hugging Jax, "so healthy and happy. Thank you. Thank you for keeping your promise." "Thank you for trusting me," Jax replied. They waited in the Texas heat, a small crowd of families waiting for their soldiers. Other homecomings happened around them, joyful reunions, tears, laughter. Each one made Jax's chest tighten with anticipation. Then Lieutenant Cooper appeared and called Isabel's name. "She's here." 5 minutes. Athena's whole body went rigid, her ears pricked forward. She could sense something, the way dogs did. Jax handed her leash to Isabel. "She should come from you." But Isabel shook her head. "No, you kept her safe. You gave her back. This should be you." Before Jax could argue, soldiers started emerging from the hangar, tired, rumpled, carrying duffel bags, scanning the crowd for familiar faces. And then he saw her. Small, dark-haired, wearing dusty ACUS, her face lighting up as she spotted her sister and nephews. Specialist Maya Rodriguez dropped her duffel and started walking toward her family. And that's when Athena saw her. The sound Athena made was unlike anything Jax had ever heard from a dog. Pure joy, pure recognition, pure love. She lunged forward, and Jax let the leash slip through his fingers. Athena ran full speed across the tarmac, her paws barely touching the ground, and leaped. Maya caught her, somehow staying upright despite the impact. Dog and soldier went down together in a tangle of limbs and tail and tears. Athena was crying, actual sobs, licking Maya's face, pawing at her, pressing close as if trying to merge their bodies into one. Maya was crying too, her arms wrapped around Athena's neck, her face buried in her dog's fur. "I missed you," she kept saying. "I missed you so much. Good girl, such a good girl. I'm home. I'm home now." Jax watched from a distance, his own eyes wet. This was it. This was what he'd been keeping faith with for 4 months. This moment of reunion, of promise kept, of loyalty rewarded. Isabel joined Maya, wrapping both soldier and dog in a hug. Her sons piled on, and for a moment it was just a family reunited, complete again. Then Maya looked up and around, clearly searching for something. "Where's the friend who was watching her?" Maya asked Isabel. "I need to thank them." Isabel pointed at Jax. "That's him, Jackson Monroe, the biker who found Athena in the desert." Maya untangled herself from her family and walked toward Jax, Athena glued to her side. Up close, she was younger than he'd imagined, maybe late 20s, with old eyes that said she'd seen things no one that young should see. "You found her?" Maya asked. "In a rest stop near Alamogordo," Jax confirmed. 3 months ago. She just walked up to my bike." Maya's face went pale. 3 months? Isabel said. She turned to her sister. "I didn't want you to worry," Isabel said quickly. "She was only missing for 3 weeks before Jax found her. And then he offered to keep her until you came home, so I said yes. I'm sorry I didn't tell you the truth." Maya looked at Jax, processing. "You kept my dog for 4 months? Why?" "Because she was a soldier's dog," Jax said simply, "and because I needed something to care about besides my own grief. She helped me as much as I helped her." You're a veteran? Maya asked. Marine Corps, Iraq, 2005 to 2009. Maya extended her hand and Jax shook it. Her grip was firm, her eyes direct. Thank you for keeping faith with me, Marine. Thank you for keeping my girl safe. Semper Fi, Jax said. It was my honor. The Borderland Brotherhood had been watching from the sidelines, but Dutch now stepped forward. We've got something for you, if you'll accept it. He held out a leather vest, small enough for a large dog with patches carefully sewn on. Honorary Borderland Brotherhood, well, your dog's a member now, served faithfully while you were deployed. Maya took the vest, her hands trembling. I don't know what to say. Don't say anything, Dutch replied. Just know you've got brothers here if you ever need them. Both of you. The ceremony wrapped up, families dispersed, but Maya lingered, sitting on a bench with Athena pressed against her legs and Jax beside her. Isabel had taken the boys to get ice cream, giving them space. Isabel told me everything, Maya said quietly. About Athena getting out, about you finding her, about her being so thin and hurt. I keep thinking what would have happened if you hadn't stopped. But I did, Jax said. That's what matters. Why? Maya asked. Really? Why would a stranger spend 4 months taking care of my dog? Jax was quiet for a moment, watching Athena's content expression. My wife died of cancer in February. Watching her waste away, being helpless to stop it, it broke something in me. I spent 6 months running from everything that reminded me of her. And then I found your dog, lost and looking for you, and something in me recognized that loneliness. I couldn't save Claire, but I could save Athena. I could keep her safe until you came home. It gave me purpose when I didn't have any. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry about your wife. Me too, Jax said. But Athena helped. Taking care of her, making sure she was ready for you, it pulled me back into the world. So thank you for trusting a stranger with something precious. I didn't have much choice, Maya said with a small smile, but I'm glad it was you. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, two people who understood loss and loyalty, bound temporarily by a dog who loved them both. What will you do now? Maya finally asked. Go home, Jax said. Back to my club, my shop, my life, and maybe get a dog of my own, a rescue, I think. Plenty of them need homes. And you need something to take care of, Maya finished. Yeah, Jax admitted. Turns out I'm not good at being alone. Nobody is, Maya said. She looked at Athena, at the vest she wore, at Jax. I meant what I said. You've got family here if you want it. Isabel, me, the boys, we owe you everything. And it sounds like you could use some family too. Before Jax could respond, Isabel returned with the boys. We should get going, she said. Maya needs rest, and we've got a homecoming party planned. Maya stood reluctantly, Athena rising with her. You're invited, she told Jax, to the party. Tomorrow, Isabel's place. Please come. I'll be there, Jax promised. The party the next day was chaotic and wonderful, Isabel's small apartment packed with relatives, friends, neighbors, all celebrating Maya's safe return. The Borderland Brotherhood showed up bearing gifts and food, and if some of the neighbors were nervous about the bikers, they relaxed when they saw how gentle the rough-looking men were with children and how respectfully they treated Maya. Jax found himself integrated into the celebration naturally, accepting hugs from Isabel's boys, sharing war stories with Maya's cousins who'd served, watching Athena move from person to person, but always returning to Maya's side. She's been waiting for this, Jax told Maya when they had a quiet moment on Isabel's balcony. The whole time I had her, she was waiting for you. Dr. Kim said she was grieving. I was grieving too, Maya admitted. Every day deployed, missing her, missing home. She was my reason to come back. Does that sound crazy? No, Jax said, thinking about Claire, about how love, any love, gave life meaning. It sounds human. Over the next few months, Jax remained connected to Maya and Isabel's family. He brought Athena to visit regularly, and each time the dog's joy at seeing him was genuine but temporary. She'd greet him enthusiastically, then return to Maya's side where she belonged. It didn't hurt the way Jax thought it would. Instead, it felt right. He'd been a steward, a caretaker, a bridge. Now Athena was home, and he could move forward. He adopted a dog of his own in October, a 3-legged pit bull named Sergeant that nobody else wanted. The dog had been found abandoned near a veteran cemetery, and when Jax heard the story, he knew it was meant to be. "You've got a type," Dutch observed, watching Jax work with Sargent at the clubhouse. "Broken things that need healing." "Takes one to know one," Jax replied, "and we're all a little broken. It's how we help each other heal that matters." On the 1-year anniversary of finding Athena, Jax rode out to that same rest stop near Alamogordo. He didn't know what he was looking for. Closure, maybe, or just acknowledgement of how much had changed in 12 months. He was sitting on his bike, drinking water and thinking about time, when his phone rang. Maya. "Hey," she said. "I know this is random, but I'm at the rest stop near Alamogordo, the one where you found Athena. I wanted to see it, to understand where everything started. And I look up, and I see a biker on a Harley. Tell me that's you." Jax looked around and spotted her truck in the parking area. Maya was standing beside it with Athena, both of them staring at him. "Yeah," Jax said, laughing. "That's me." They walked toward each other, meeting in the middle of the parking lot, where a year ago, a lost dog had found a lost man and changed both their lives. "I come here sometimes," Maya admitted, "when I need to remember that things work out, that there are good people in the world. This place is sacred to me now." "To me too," Jax said. He knelt and let Athena greet him, her tail wagging, her eyes bright with recognition and affection. Not the desperate need she'd shown a year ago, but genuine fondness. "I've been thinking," Maya said, "about what you did, about what it meant. You could have turned Athena over to animal control. You could have kept her and disappeared. But you kept faith with a soldier you'd never met because you believed in honor and promises. That matters." "It mattered to me too," Jax said. "I want to pay it forward," Maya said. "There are dozens of military families dealing with pet issues during deployments, dogs that need temporary homes, people who need help. What if we created something? A network of foster families, volunteers willing to care for soldiers' pets while they're deployed. We could call it Athena's Promise," Jax suggested. Maya smiled. "Perfect. Athena's Promise. Would you help me build it?" Jax looked at this young soldier, at her dog, at the rest stop where fate had intervened a year ago. He thought about Claire, about how she'd always believed in creating good from loss, about legacy and purpose and the connections that saved us. "Yeah," he said. "I'll help you build it." 2 years later, Athena's Promise had placed over 300 military pets in temporary foster homes during deployments. The Borderland Brotherhood had adopted the cause as a club mission, and chapters across the Southwest were participating. They'd saved marriages, prevented dogs from being surrendered to shelters, and given deployed soldiers peace of mind knowing their pets were safe. The program had been featured in military publications, won grants from veteran organizations, and grown beyond anything Jax or Maya had imagined. But for Jax, the real success was personal. He'd found purpose again, found a way to serve that honored Claire's memory, and kept faith with his brothers and sisters in uniform. He stood in Maya's backyard during the program's 2nd anniversary celebration, watching Athena play with Sargent and a dozen other dogs being fostered through their network. Maya approached with 2 beers, handing him one. "We did good," she said simply. "We did," Jax agreed. "Claire would have loved this. She always said the best way to honor loss was to create something that helps others." "She sounds like she was special," Maya said. "She was," Jax said. "And so is Athena. That dog saved my life." "She saved mine too," Maya said, "just by waiting for me, by giving me a reason to come home. And you saved her, which means you saved both of us." They clinked bottles, 2 people bound by a dog and a promise, by loss and healing, by the understanding that sometimes the most important thing you can do is show up for someone, or some dog, who needs you. Athena trotted over, wearing her Borderland Brotherhood vest, and pressed against Maya's leg. She looked at Jax with those dark, intelligent eyes, and he could have sworn she understood that a year ago she'd been lost, and he'd been lost, and they'd found each other exactly when they both needed finding. "Thank you," Jax told her, scratching behind her ears, "for trusting me when you needed help, for teaching me that grief doesn't last forever if you let love back in." Athena licked his hand, then returned to Maya where she belonged, and Jax watched them together, soldier and dog reunited, and felt at peace for the first time since Claire died. The rest stop near Alamogordo was just a place, but what had happened there had rippled outward, creating connections and healing wounds and building something that would outlast all of them. That was legacy. That was purpose. That was what it meant to keep faith. And it had all started with a dog walking out of the desert, carrying a soldier's tag, looking for someone to help her find her way home.